Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz, back with another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. I don't know about you, but we're almost halfway, not really halfway, but we're halfway through like the first couple of months of the year, right? And I feel like I am somebody who is so stuck in the past. I just turned 35. I had a great birthday. Shared my lessons learned with you in the last episode. However, I feel like lately I've just been playing the memories of my life on repeat. It's sort of like someone's shoved me into a snow globe and all the best moments of my life are there and nobody will let me out. Like I'm knocking on the glass, but nobody hears me. Sometimes I feel like the universe just wants me to be stuck 15 years in the past, but truly I'm the one that wants to go back 15 years ago. I know that I'm like really happy to be 35. I'm happy to be in my 30s, but if I can go back in time, would I do anything differently? And I guess the answer is yeah. Sure, I'd love who I loved even though they were the wrong people for me, and I'd make a lot of the same mistakes, especially the ones I vowed to never make again, because those are the kinds of things that raise you when you're already an adult. But being so nostalgic is a silly thing because it makes us forget how powerful the present is. And it makes us forget how heavy the past was at times. Like we just crave and we yearn for the past, but it wasn't always so great, was it? This morning, I'm reminding myself of one simple thing. I could make today one of those memories I can't stop thinking about in another 15 years. I can do that with today. Whatever today is, I could do that if I wanted. So even though I'm so stuck in the past these days, sometimes I have to remember that you have the power to change the present too. I was grabbing bagels with Adam a couple of days ago, and we parked outside of his first apartment in New York City. And we were sitting there eating our bagels because it was so cold, and I said to him, tell me your favorite moments about living here, about life before me. And he told me about the bar below him. It's a famous bar called Bowery Electric. And he told me about some spots across the street and what it was like being so young and so in love with Manhattan. And lately, I can't stop daydreaming about my 20s either. Sometimes I'll be like in the middle of writing an email and I just think about like a night out with my friends at age 26 or sitting on the couch with my roommate Carrie, one of the thousands of nights we sat on this couch together laughing. And sometimes I can't even go through Manhattan without feeling this like knock on my stomach. Like I just get these flashbacks of my life, places where I had my, big news happen, good or bad. Sometimes I feel like my 30s are all about going backward in life. Like I'm spending so much time thinking about people, places, and conversations that are so good, but they're not here anymore. Is this what growing up is like? And how come nobody ever told me about that? That growing up is being so nostalgic, is hoping for the past, is wishing you could just go back one more time. Sometimes I remember all it took to get me to where I am today. And it reminds me that the past is best where it is, in the rearview mirror, heading the opposite way as I follow the green lights forward. It's just that sometimes, and maybe you feel this way too, it feels so good to momentarily forget that and daydream for a little bit. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz. Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, And join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.